team. Go just like Hoth. Go just like Hoth. Go just like Hoth. Go just like Hoth. You need to stay off Tatooine if you can.
Hey everyone, Hunter here from Forever League Studios. Welcome to this week's episode of Building Hoth, week 34. And this week's episode is kind of a continuation of last week's episode. And what I mean by that is, last week's episode I focused on the beginning of the footprints and the terrain of the mock. And this is kind of a continuation of that because that's what mainly I did this week. And I know that might not sound like the best, sounding episode. But honestly, it looks great in my opinion. It's coming along quite well, and I'm really starting to like how it's looking. Now, a problem I did face this week is I kind of ran out of the 1x1 plates, the 1x1 plates and the 1x2 plates. I ran out of them, which kind of sucked because I couldn't really continue on that. I did place some 2x2 tiles because of the fact that I wanted to map it out and kind of go over some of the colors to kind of draw them out. Not really draw them out, but cover them up. Because as you can see, like around this area, you can kind of see some different colors popping out, and that's not going to be shown. Hopefully, it should be covered up by next week's episode, because I've got like 3 Bricklink orders coming in, and I'll explain more into that video. But what we focused mainly in this week's episode was finishing up the footprints, which I really like how they came out. We did the more terrain, and I mean a lot of terrain, and as well as a little bit of snow drift or a snow mound type of deal. And I really like how that came out, and I can't wait to continue finishing on that and actually making more snow mounds. So I'm really excited to show you guys what we got done, and let's get right into today's episode. Okay, starting off this video, I'm going to showcase some more figures that I got in the mail this week. I got one more Hoth Rebel, and I know that sounds like, oh, one more? Like, that doesn't sound like much. Basically, that was another figure added onto the Imperial side. I got 5 brand new Imperial Stormtroopers or Snowtroopers, and while I was about to check out, I checked to see if he had any Rebels, and he had one of the newer version in stock, and so I just snagged that up to be exact. And I really like how this is coming along. I really like the look of these troops actually all together. Now, for the Bricklink orders that I just mentioned in the beginning, is that I've got 3 orders coming in, and one of them is actually another figure order. And now, if you're curious why I'm buying so many figures at the moment, and why I'm not buying more parts than figures, it's because I really want to get these, at least most of the figures out of the way now, so I can actually kind of not worry about that, because the Imperial Stormtroopers, I kind of need them a lot at the moment because of the fact that they're going to be solely on this side, whereas the Rebels are going to be, of course, solely in the trench, or at least somewhat out of the trench. And I really want to get these figures out of the way, and as well as for the figure order that's coming in this week, I know it just shipped. Basically, it is full of AT-AT pilots, and that's not even a joke. I only have one AT-AT pilot of the newer version, and he's already in the walker. So I had to get more, because again, building a second one at some point. Not even at some point. I have a kind of a bit of a surprise, somewhat. But basically, I've only got one at the moment, and I technically need to get 3 more. And this guy had it for like these somewhat new ones or newer versions of them, and basically he had them for like $4, I think it was, and so I just picked up all 5, and so that will complete this walker and complete the next. And if you're wondering, why didn't you just buy 3 if you just needed 3? Because I really like the idea of having a few extras, so I should have like 2 extra Imperial AT-AT pilots when this is completely done and over with. So just wanted to get that out of the way before I actually show you the real progress. Just wanted to show you guys an update on the actual figures of the mock, which I really like the look of these guys in like army form or that type of thing. But yeah, so that is about the figures. Time to show you guys what I really did on this week's episode of Hoth. And that is what I did. So, as you can see, there's a bit of a difference between last week's episode and this week's episode. So as you can see, I kind of went a lot on the full-on terrain of the mock. Again, that was kind of what I was trying to focus on. In last week's episode, I specified that I really wanted to get the footprints taken care of, as well as that little bit of a filler that was showing at the moment. I really wanted to get that covered up with plates and actual, terrain. And I pretty much accomplished that, and I quite enjoy it. I'm quite excited to see how this is going to look at the end. But basically what I did this week was, of course, what you see at the moment. The terrain is coming along really well. The footprints are pretty much done. Again, I just need that order 1x2 plates in. Like I mentioned a second ago, one of the orders is a figure order, but two of them are pretty decently large orders. And what I mean by large, I mean like in the quantity. So there's not going to be as much of a variety of parts, but more as a large amount of a certain part. But yeah, so in total, I've got like 650 of the 1x2 plates coming in, and I'm hoping to get that. I'm hoping that's all I'm gonna need. What I'll probably do when I get it in, I'll probably cover in the colored areas. As you can kind of see, there's a bunch of different colors coming out, like red, tan, green, black, gray, brown, and just a bunch of random colors that are poking out that don't belong on Hoth. Now, the reason why that is there is because of the fact that none of this white is actually going to be showing on Hoth. None of it's going to be showing because of the fact that the train pieces are going to be covering it completely. The only plates that are actually going to be showing are the ones on the side. That's literally it. So on the inside, I have a bunch of random large plates, and I decided to use those instead of the wasting the 6x6 white plates. Yeah, so that's probably going to be the first thing I cover up, is that little area. Another thing I focused on was, of course, the footprint. I'm not completely happy with this design. Not really design, but the actual these parts in the middle. Basically, it can fit the actual foot. That's what I molded it after. I basically put the foot here and basically built around it. Did the same thing I did over here, but I kind of gave it a little bit of snowy in. I'm not 100% liking the snow in the middle. I might just end up taking that out. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. Around the edges, I kind of like because of the fact that it kind of looks like snow fell inward. But let me know on the middle things. I'm not too keen on these things. But I really like the snow footprint. I know some people were asking me if I was going to have footprints behind the walker because of the fact that the walker didn't, of course, just plop down into place then and there and is not mobilized. Of course, has footprints behind it because of the fact that it's been walking. And, of course, I had to put one right here. I need to measure it out, and if there needs to be, there'll probably be like half a foot or less, like a third of the foot, like around here, maybe. I need to measure it out. I didn't really pay much attention to that because of the fact that I was mainly focusing on this, the plating, and then, of course, the snowdrift, or the snow mound, or I'm just going to call it snowdrift. This is another thing I focused on. I actually wasn't planning on doing it this week, but basically, while I was doing all this, I started placing down 2x2 plates around this, and started kind of figuring out how to do a snowdrift, and it just continued onward. And at the moment, it is actually about 3 studs higher than ground level. Well, no, it's actually 4 studs higher than ground level, which is quite cool because this is actually a full brick and 1 plate higher than the actual ground level. I know it doesn't seem like that maybe on camera. Maybe lower it a little bit see if you can give a better look. But as you can see, it does go upward. It's about 4 plates higher than ground level. Let's just take a random snow trooper, and right there, as you can see, it's a little bit higher. And grab another one all at the top. You can definitely see some height difference. So I was really wanting to get a snowdrift in this, and I really like how it came out, actually. It's not really a full circular type of pattern. It's kind of a oblong circle. Goes like this, and then dives in, and then goes up, and then goes down, and then finishes out. So I quite like how I did that. I do need to cover this up, of course. This is dark green that's showing at the moment. Again, ran out of them, so I couldn't continue on it. But that will be covered in next week's episode. Yeah, so that is the terrain of the mock. I think it's looking great in my opinion. Now, I know there's the little gaps between these guys at the moment. I know it does bug me, and it doesn't give the full-on look of the creation. But honestly, I didn't want to wait a whole week just to get those parts in, to showcase the whole terrain somewhat pretty much finished. I didn't want to wait a week, because I know it's going to be in by this week. I know it's going to be in by next week's episode, because of the fact that all 3 packages have shipped already, and usually they take less than 4 days or so. So I know for a fact that's going to be in by next week's episode. So basically, next week's episode is probably going to be finishing this off. You'll be able to see what it's going to look like at the end of the mock, as well as I should be able to get this done. I don't want to make any promises, but I should be able to get the walker actually in place. So I've got the feet at the moment in place where it's going to be at, and then I've got the legs aside, and then I have the actual body right there. Basically, what I mean is I'm going to see if I can get James over to help me actually lift this onto the legs and place it in, or get the walker actually standing, because of the fact that I really want to get that finished, but I can't really put it on there because of the fact that there's still spots in between the footprints. There's spots between the footprints that need to be filled in, and I really don't want to put my hands between the legs or the underbody of the walker when I need to place parts under, like small parts under it. I'd rather wait till that order comes in and then actually fill in that and then put the walker on. But I'm going to try and get it done. I'm going to try and put the walker on the actual legs so you guys can actually see what the walker looks like on the battlefield with the terrain and all that. At the moment, I actually have Luke Skywalker running towards under him. And that's actually going to be what I'm going to kind of do at the end of the mock. I'm going to have Luke Skywalker kind of running underneath it to tow cable up. I really want to have that scene in this, and yeah, so I just thought that'd be pretty cool to have that, as well as I put the snowspeeder there. That's probably not going to stay in that exact position, but I really want to have a snowspeeder there when the walker's on top, because I really love the look of it. When I had the walker first set up, I put the snowspeeder next to it, and I just fell in love with the look of it. So I think that's pretty much it. That's everything I did in this week's episode. I know it doesn't seem like a total lot, but honestly, I did get a bunch done. This was hours upon hours of work. And again, I know it doesn't look like much, but it is a lot because of the fact that I had to place all these tiles down, all the plates. I had to work around footprints to actually make everything fit. I didn't have any extra filler brick, so I had to use what I had left, and but everything seemed to go well, and I'm quite happy with this, and I'm really happy with how this is looking. It's just going along real nicely, and again, I can't wait to get those tiles and plates in. so I can actually finish this off and get it more nicer looking, more finished look. But honestly, I think it's looking great at the moment, and I can't wait to get that walker on the legs. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for the actual video. So yeah, I'm going to say I hope you all enjoyed, and let's get to that final part of the video. Okay, so for this final part of the video, I just want to say I hope you all enjoyed today's episode of Building Hoth. I do want to get your guys' opinion on the inside of the footprint. Again, I'm not really completely happy with the little bits of snow on the inner side of the foot. But let me know in the comments what you think of that, as well as what you guys think of the full-on terrain, and as well as the snowdrift. I really, really like how it's coming out, and I can't wait to get those parts in so I can continue working on it. And as well as what you guys think of the footprints. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you enjoyed, definitely hit that like button, as well as if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. We got some awesome videos coming out on Hoth, as well as I have a few other things coming up that I'd like to record. So again, let me know what you think of this week's episode of Building Hoth, and I think that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in next week's episode of Building Hoth. See you guys.